Come on, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's a big one. The Premier League is back.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Start of the week, I mean.
I know.
Start of the weekend.
Stop rubbing your thighs.
The international break is over. Let's see what players have come back uninjured.
Put your top back
lovely.
on. Put your top back on.
Okay.
There's a whole
All right,
weekend
fine.
to get through.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
yeah.
I've got a
early.
shirt that's entirely
Oh,
Preston-y.
there
Come on, there they are.
It's a cold day. Not that Pete needs a cold day.
No, I've
to
got
have,
those cut glass nipples.
Jim
every
looked
day
at
of the
me
week.
genuinely disgusted there. As if
was,
say,
yeah.
why are you highlighting this?
They are disgusting. Like I shouldn't get them out, really.
Oh dear. Well,
Yeah, there they are again.
There they are.
Belly button's even worse. It's like a half innie out.
Oh, really?
It's just the worst.
No, I've not heard of that before.
No.
What's happened there?
I don't know. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
It's like it goes in, but there's also a bit of outie there.
Bloody hell.
We were just talking about Total Recall before we went on the mics. Have you got like a little man?
Little baby.
That's, like, trying to come out of
in
it?
there, yeah. Makes me wish I had 3 hands.
Careful. Careful.
Doesn't matter. Right, crack on.
Well, before we get started,
I'd argue we've already started.
Welcome, new listeners.
yeah, we are going to talk about football, I promise you. But the rumours are true. The Football Ramble is now on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky as well. You're on
are?
Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Peter, are you on there?
I'm on Blue Sky. I was an early adopter about a year ago. I thought it was all
you didn't
gonna
know what
kick
it
off.
was,
I didn't
did
know
you?
what it was. I was
Blue
like,
Sky, that sounds like my thing.
get your name in there. Get your name nailed down. Turns out that everyone sort of joined me, and it's quite a fun place to be now.
Yeah, and you were the bull for Blue
Yeah.
Sky.
I was, yeah, exactly.
Pete's doing this.
As Stephen Fry once was for Twitter.
Indeed.
Pete's
yes.
gone into a cave. Why don't we follow him?
That's right. The reason why we're following is because we are being chased by the Musketeer.
Yeah. If you do see me go into a cave, please don't follow me. All my things are in there.
But again,
I don't want
though,
you looking at them.
Just assume he has his reasons.
But I'd rather go into a cave with Pete than face the Musketeer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously...
It'd be very boring.
Yeah, we've set up a Blue Sky account so you can follow us over there if you wish. Expect all the usual show videos, Phil Neville memes and live match reaction. We always do, just without the bots. Well, they may well arrive.
You might see my bot.
So far.
I've already got my nipples and my navel out, so
Yeah.
what's going to be next?
There you go. So hit the link in our show notes or just search Football Ramble on Blue Sky to follow us now.
It's good stuff in our show notes. There's always a link to click, isn't there?
We love a
always
link.
something to be voted for. Always a picture to peruse.
Exactly, Peter.
Check the show notes. If you're enjoying the show
Yeah.
and you're just scrolling on your, TikToks at the same time, get in the show notes. There's always something in there.
Exactly.
We don't write those descriptions for nothing.
Little treat for you.
Little treat for you.
Little Easter egg.
Oh dear! Is it a little treat for us that that when we think the Premier League football is kind of winding down this weekend at 4:30 on Sunday, it's like, oh hello, Ruben Amorim's Manchester United are off to Ipswich Town.
Shit, here we go again.
Football's never ending, is it? It's the same thing happening over and over again, and I still can't get enough of it.
It's great. I mean, Amorim is the club's 6th permanent manager since Sir Alex Ferguson. Permanent manager. Not interim, not caretaker.
No, permanent.
If we added them
Enjoy
in,
it.
we'd be loads.
Your feet are under the table. You're in the house. You've moved in.
Yeah.
All your clothes are in the cupboards, and then you're trying to be your best self, aren't you?
Yes.
At the start of a new relationship,
Is this an Ed Sheeran song?
and then you're eating crispy shredded beef at 2 a.m. and watching videos about 3D printers.
This is
a few years down the line.
Your take on an Ed Sheeran song. Ruben Amorim is in charge now. And news has been coming out about his training sessions, of course. A lot of people trying to make sense of it on
All we've got to go on
social
at the moment.
media. Yeah, and that's what we're going to go on then. Antony at wing back. Come on, we spoke about this. Vish said he would prefer Antony through the middle. No, we want that man busting a gut up and down the line. That is what I heard something that Jurgen Klopp apparently was looking at when he was Liverpool manager, was looking at Antony maybe to get him in. He's a man with talent, Jurgen Klopp, but also Antony's good football. I wonder how he's going to fare with Amorim going there, but we shall see. There's much talk about the 3-4-2-1 kind of system and all that kind of good stuff.
Could Antony be the new Joelinton?
Oh, I'd like to see that. Very much so.
Yes, learning from his fellow countrymen. Yeah, that's not a bad shout, Jim. Well, apparently Amorim has been surprised at the lack of speed and intensity at training, which makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, it does, especially because the whole team should be set up to have speed, intensity, turnover.
Yeah.
Hitting teams on the break.
That's right.
You are a team that hits teams on the break, but you don't seem to be very good at it. So why don't we do a bit more of that?
Yeah, it's like the army's coming over the hill. Yeah, but we can see them. We've got
We got
ages until
yeah,
they come. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, I mean, but what do you think, Jim? Ruben Amorim, Manchester United manager now, is he going to have a fast start or is it going to be a bit Jekyll and Hyde?
Obviously, it's difficult to say. This is, with all respect to Ipswich, is kind of a nice fixture, isn't it? Because you would expect them to be heavy favourites, even away. It's really difficult to say how quickly he's going to be able to implement his methods, and he himself has sort of quelled that, hasn't he? He said, I'm not going to be able to play the way that I played with Sporting with this set of players. It's going to be very, very different. So it will be really interesting to see if he starts with the 3-4-3. The fact that Antony has been training as a wing back suggests that he will do that.
What if the little snaps on social media to go
exactly.
on?
So I mean,
he could have just been like getting a drink at the side of the pitch.
Absolutely, yeah. It could even be a ruse. Maybe he's going to start strong with a sort of the subterfuge. But it'd be very interesting to see if they start that straight away. Because obviously, I'd be surprised if his goal wasn't to get them playing in that style as quickly as possible. Personnel will be interesting. Obviously, he knows Manuel Ugarte, so possibly he'll be at the base of that potential little diamond you mentioned that could happen there. It's interesting because I think it's going to be a lot of square pegs in round holes for a bit, because the squad is a Frankenstein's monster, essentially, isn't it? Of lots of different managers and their attempts at kind of making this work.
I said Lindelof will probably have a nice time. He'll probably be slotting in a back three and be back in from the cold.
Maybe, actually, yeah, because, I mean, centre-back is interesting, isn't it? If there's going to be three of them. Lenny Euro isn't quite ready to start yet, I don't think, but he's on his way back. So
that's saying that he might make his debut, but there is still a little bit of an injury concern there. So we
why not go all in? Knew everything.
Against Ipswich.
Yeah,
sit this one out, Amorim. Come
got
back
an idea for a new kit. Let's give it a go.
But it is a nice time to sort of like reassess what you've got in the squad. And now Sir Alex Ferguson's out the club, you can finally just lose all the wingers and just do wing backs.
Yeah. Sir Alex Ferguson's finally out the club.
And he's taken his wingers. Bye.
He has,
See you later.
Well, apparently, Amorim has reportedly been telling players that top managers haven't replicated Sir Alex Ferguson's success because they have lived in his shadow. Amorim's telling.
I do agree with that to a certain extent. Because that's all anybody talks about.
Yeah, but don't they themselves have to shut up about it at some point?
but Amorim going in there and talking about Sir Alex Ferguson in such a way, it's a bold start.
Yeah, but none of them played under Ferguson, right? So I find that quite... I was surprised by this, to be honest, because, I mean, perhaps the shadow looms so large that it is an issue once you're actually in the club. But to me, it just, it raises this issue that they've struggled under and keeps it alive.
I thought it was a little bit Brian Clough at Leeds.
Right. Oh, maybe there's a bit of that.
All those trophies you won under 10 chuck them in the bin, as far as I'm concerned.
The only person who could have played under him to a decent level would probably be Amorim himself, age-wise, I suppose. Everyone's been making massive moves that Amorim's only a little bit older than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wow.
Ooh.
Amorim was under him.
And he's
yeah, well, I mean, there are...
The Amorim jury list.
Exactly.
Perusing that.
Well, you're right to say about injuries. We could see Martinez return potentially from his injury. Old Slabhead Maguire, perhaps. It'd be great if suddenly Luke Shaw suddenly was listening. I fancy it now.
I've completed God. I'm out of there.
Or he sticks him at centre half, like I forget which previous manager. It might have been Ten Hag himself, of course, rather than stick Maguire there. So it's intriguing as you say, Jim, what he will do formation-wise and so on.
I think Martinez actually be a really good option in that three because he's quite comfortable in midfield, isn't he? We see him invert from the left sometimes. So
he loves a good invert.
He can cover that same space as the third in the three.
Oddly, I think that the pressure is a little bit. I think the pressure's slightly off for Amorim. Actually, normally you would think a manager going into Manchester United is like, well, pressure's on. They're expecting. The expectation is so low now in terms of this season. Obviously, it's a huge club, and the expectation is let's get back to winning ways.
Yeah.
But winning ways haven't been there for quite some time, and obviously Ten Hag did win a couple of trophies, and that shouldn't be forgotten about or dismissed. Although it will be, I think, because of how he sort of ended his time there. But it's the league where they really, really need to improve. And so many managers since Ferguson, of course, and some really big hitters in there who have come along and just quite haven't done it. And I think this appointment is an exciting one. A younger manager who's kind of really just starting out. He's been very impressive with Sporting so far. And I think that the feeling now is, well, this is something that they really haven't done. Solskjaer's the only one.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's not really the same because he doesn't come with the same sort of track record.
Would you call that a legacy appointment?
Very, very much so. Yeah, I mean, it is. You're right to point it out. They are trying something new, and actually, it's the most forward-thinking kind of modern approach that they've taken.
Yes.
And do you not think it's the most forward-thinking approach just simply because they have tried every other avenue, and also a club at the scale and impact of Manchester United demands a name, and he's not quite the name that you would have expected 5 years ago.
Well, I don't know. I think
they wouldn't have taken a chance on. They wouldn't have taken a chance because this is a chance, and they wouldn't have taken a chance, a kick in the dark, so to speak, 5 years ago, would they?
Well, not on Amorim.
No,
obviously, 5 years ago.
But I think Pete's right. I mean,
but you are right. They wanted a big hitter.
They wanted a Mourinho or a Van Gaal or whatever,
Exactly.
and they would have taken Tuchel if he was available. I'm sure.
Yeah, indeed. And Pochettino was often linked, but the fact is they've gone for Amorim. But you're right to say that, and I think
I like it.
Well, I think it's a good appointment. I don't think you'd have many people suggesting otherwise because, as you say, they have tried everything. Unless you prize Ancelotti away from Real Madrid, which is not going to happen. I often thought, and as a lot of people did, Allegri was maybe the one, but then he did that whole shirt ripping thing and got sent off and walked out of Juventus. It's like, yeah, he seems like a bit of a madder bloke than we perhaps thought. So, yeah, they're not going to prize Guardiola over Man City. So I think that this is the one, and I think that to quote the Stone Roses there, but Amorim, I think, because of all this, I think it buys him time, and I think unless it's a disaster, which I can't imagine it would be. I mean, for crying out loud, for the sake of this podcast, I hope it is. But that aside, in footballing terms, I don't think it's going to be a disaster this season. A free hit is too strong a word because clearly if they finish like 11th or something, that would be disappointing. But I think with that squad, it will be a top half finish, surely. Challenging for European places, more probably Europa League or even the Conference League. I think that he's not much as expected. I just think implement your styles, just a few green shoots, to be honest with you, because that's where they are. I know that sounds ridiculous for Manchester United. People might think, oh, come on, surely they want more than that. I think for the majority of that fan base, I would guess that that's what it is. And also...
Oh, Marcus, but the cottage industry of people criticising Manchester United.
Hello.
Yeah, I was going to say, but often...
Just like, it's just...
But that fan base...
You just don't get the amount of time anywhere else. I think it's probably
but I think they have
Real.
to, though.
Yeah, I know they have to.
But they're
they
in
have
a
to
totally different situation to Real
Yeah.
Madrid. Real Madrid's a basket case. I mean, Real Madrid's more comparable to Chelsea, actually, in terms of managers, you would say.
And also, they are the outlier, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're the exception that proves the rule.
And also, there's far less competition with them in Spain. Obviously, Barcelona, Atletico, but with Manchester United and where they've fallen. And I think the fan base, to give them credit, they are the type of fan base that most fan bases would get behind a new manager, of course.
They're really vocal in supporting managers who are under pressure as well. They deserve credit for that.
Yes.
I think as well, Amorim's age profile is an interesting thing because it suggests they are there for the long haul and they're going to give him time to sort of grow. There's new management structure in place. Obviously, they made the decision not to move on from Erik ten Hag in the summer. Now this is their man. This is the first kind of flex of their muscle. So I think he'll get some grace. And also, you look at the table. Man United are 13th, but they're also on 15 points, right? Mm-hmm. Chelsea are on 19 points in third. Like, there's a long way to go, and there's a lot of movement in what is a very compact table at the moment. So they could yet salvage something from this season. And obviously, we're not expecting them to challenge for the league or anything like that. They could finish high. If Amorim can work his magic and can bring a bit of the feel-good factor back, or whatever it is that it takes to get them playing again and getting results. I mean, I think this season is a write-off to a point, but it can still be one of massive progress.
Indeed, yeah. And I think if it was any kind of European football by the end of it, then that would probably signify some sort of success. But we'll see how it goes.
Is he going to start shaking the hands of the Singh brothers again? Do you remember Alex Ferguson used to shake the hands of those
the
Singh brothers?
Yes,
in the front bit.
I'd like that because
bring that back.
It would show a little bit of a nod to the history of the club, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I saw them at the Emirates once. I was like, oh.
What are you guys doing
them
here?
from the telly.
Yeah.
Only other time I've had that was when I recognised the police horse from All or Nothing.
My brother's an Arsenal fan, and he was in an Arsenal pub, which is full of Arsenal fans, pre-match ones, and suddenly there was a bit of a commotion. He goes, right, he's going to do it, he's going to do it. And it was that bloke who the camera panned to, who's got slightly curly dark hair.
Right.
When was it Arsenal won the league at Old Trafford? Was it?
Yeah.
And he's got both fists pumping. He's like, yeah, like that. But it's like every footage of that straight after they won it or scored or whatever.
Yeah.
And it pans to him. You'll know exactly who it is.
Yeah.
It's right after the Romford Pele goal, isn't it? When he runs up the field and whacks it
No,
in.
that's FA Cup.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It might well
You
have been
turned
that.
into Ray Parlour.
Yeah, it may well have been the FA Cup, Peter, but I thought it was anyway. It's a high profile.
Yeah, I think it's when Mark Overmars scores.
Mark Overmars
Right,
scores
okay,
at Old Trafford.
nice.
And anyway, he was in the pub and he looked round and my brother was like, oh, I've seen that. Where have I seen that guy? And he does the celebration. He's like, hey, he's the guy. He's the guy. A bit like that Steve McLaren lookalike fan.
Yes.
Bit of fan celebrity stuff.
Yeah.
Amorim, if you're listening, do that. The fans.
I don't think they even attend anymore. But I know they came back in 2021, I think, and then they always said, "Oh, well, Manchester United are going to be good now."
But that would be even more of a nut history if you get them back in.
Get them back in.
Shake the hands, win the game. Although if they did pop up at Ipswich, that would be quite something. Right. Well, we know it's all doom and gloom at Manchester United at the moment, but Amorim is the knight in shining armour who could save the day. It's so bad though, Manchester United and Old Trafford, that even the surrounding area seems to be affected. A Man United themed cafe, which is just a few hundred yards away from Old Trafford, was given a 0-star hygiene rating after a rat infestation. Is that? I mean, I suppose if I was to spin that in a positive way, Amorim arriving, are the rats scared? They're like, well, there's no place for us at the ground.
Yeah, we have to leave
He's
now, yeah.
exercising that, and they're just running to the nearest Man United themed kind of places.
Yeah, we'll pop back for a shower, but no more than that. This is exactly what you were talking about, Pete, isn't it? The cottage industry of people ripping the shit out of Man United.
Yeah.
A nearby cafe has got some problems,
some rats in
and for
it.
some reason this is on the club.
Well, I thought we gave Man United a bit of credit.
I did.
We have to balance
we
it up.
earned it, yeah. So
The last year of the rat was 2020, which was a good Solskjaer year.
They are.
So maybe they're bringing back a little bit of that.
do we know that the rats aren't helping to cook the food?
Exactly.
Put 'em
Can
on
we
the
not?
chef's
Can we
head.
not make it into like a lovely, charming sort of pizza rat situation where they become a bit of a motif of Manchester United, the Manchester United rats?
I think they'll rather stick with the devil.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but like
The
devils
Manchester
are like
United rats.
the
doesn't
devils.
have the same
I don't see a
ring to it,
devil
does it?
every day, but I see rats every now and again.
That's true. You do live in London.
I do
though.
live near London. Yeah.
Oh, you're near London now.
Yeah.
You're an Essex man.
I'm a
Well,
London
A lot of the
themed-
rats have been priced out. So
I've got a London themed house.
That's right, that's right. Well, with your kind of habits, it's not surprising they're attracted to it, quite frankly. Now, let's turn our attention to Ipswich Town and what's going on around their stadium in Portman Road. So there's work on an Edward Sheeran mural, which is on Sir Ralph Ramsey Way near Portman Road. It's a photo of him as a child in an Ipswich kit alongside his current self.
a photo?
Yeah, well,
That makes it sound like he travelled back in time and met his younger self.
that's kind of the vibe of the mural, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is.
What do you think of this? Why don't you slag it off unnecessarily because it's Ed Sheeran?
Yeah, no, well, I'll leave that to like all of the internet. I'll leave that to a piece of internet the size of Ireland.
There's a lot. The new AI development is that you get there's like 2 photographs of people, and you click a button and they kiss. Have you seen
right.
it?
Yeah, I
That's the
have.
new kind of fad for getting 2 people to kiss that didn't do it in real life.
American politics has been enjoying this stuff
so
recently.
that's very much like what I'd like to see.
So you'd like to see Ed
Sheeran Frenching his young self, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and the internet can provide it
Yeah.
for you. So this would be sort of like a remake of Back to the Future, but with Ed Sheeran getting off with himself.
Yeah.
Rather than his mum.
He's parking with himself.
other than his mum.
Yeah, you might find it distasteful, but that was literally the plot of Back to the Future.
Yeah. It
wasn't the
in my
plot,
mind.
that
It was,
happened.
yeah.
And the plot
It was a
wasn't-
man travels back in time on a quest to get off with his own mam. That's what he wanted to do.
It's so funny how you you then go like Hartlepool in there and use ma'am rather than mum.
Yeah. Just have a bit of that.
Have a bit of that is
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
Marty McFly said immediately after.
Those London rats haven't changed you.
I'm King Rat.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well,
There you go, Ipswich fans.
so you got
It's now on the field you want to bloody watch. You may as well look at
Oh, is there not? Is there not?
one win against Spurs and they think that they're mural, they're allowed to do murals. Get fucked.
I love it when he quadruples down.
Put the paint away, lads. I'm not having it.
Remind the listeners where they can get you on social media.
I'm on Blue Sky now.
Yeah, you are.
Pete Donaldson, B Sky B social or something. I don't bloody know.
B Sky B, is it?
Could be.
It does look like it's B Sky.
B Sky.
But yeah, I did think that when I saw it, actually.
Do we have no words for Ipswich?
No, we do have
Good
words.
win against Spurs in the ascendancy.
We certainly have
international break
Go
came
and
at
get
a
the
bad time.
crayons. Yeah.
That's right. We have better words for Ipswich, certainly, than what happened there. I think Ipswich will fancy this.
I think they will.
It's a good home fixture.
Yes.
On the telly. Lovely old job.
It is a lovely old job, and this is why you want to get promoted to the Premier League for these types of games. I know the whole new manager bounce thing, blah, 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 but what are they going to do? It is a shame for them that Ten Hag is not still in charge. Let's be quite honest about that. I think we've got to be honest with ourselves.
They're going to run now, from what we've been led to believe.
Well, yeah. However, if you were Ipswich Town Football Club, would you not invite Alex Ferguson to the game?
Put him in the mural.
Yeah. Oh, look, Ruben, he's still hit. Put him in the mural.
It'd be really confusing.
Yeah. No, I'd ask Ferguson, Mourinho, Van Gaal, Specs.
Get them all there. Get them all
right
there.
behind the dugout.
Yeah.
You're not invited.
All eating a big pizza with a rat.
Yeah. That's that. We can do. They could do all that if they wanted. It seems unlikely. But no, I think Ipswich. I think this is a chance for them to get a big scalp.
Yeah,
obviously because they're playing them, but with the new manager, blah 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 blah.
If there are any sort of teething problems in the new system, if they do indeed play that, then Liam Delap is well placed to take advantage of the form he's shown so far this season.
Well, he's been the man,
impressive.
hasn't he? He has been the man. There's no two ways about that. And if you are Liam Delap, you're thinking, I don't give a damn which one of those centre halves is playing. Surely it's like it's bullying time, Liam. Get those centre halves, roll them, skin them. Whatever you want to do, by hook or crook, take the game to them, because he's been hugely impressive. And as I said before, to have that outlet is massive. So I'm looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a good one, and it's on the telly.
It is.
It's on B Sky B. Right, coming up after this, Enzo Maresca returns to the King Power, and more good news for England.
Good evening and welcome to this press conference. We just go ahead with your questions, so please wait for the microphone and state the media that you represent, and ask your questions for Brian. No questions? All right, thank you for tonight.
Well, back to the Football Ramble, everybody. That was Denmark coach Brian Riemer after they drew 0-0 with Serbia in the Nations League this week. And that was the post-match press conference in its entirety.
Does that ever happen?
He wasn't asked a single question.
If you ever need to know that you're in charge of a rather unfashionable fixture, that is very much it, isn't it?
Denmark-Serbia, that's not a bad game.
On paper, it should be better than clearly it was.
Yeah, but I mean...
But also, like,
to
you
not ask a question is a bit...
Yeah, it's a bit weak, isn't it? Maybe everyone just got the wrong room.
Or are they just they're so fed up after a boring game that they want to punish him? They're giving him the silent treatment. Yeah. Very weird. He looked delighted to be able to leave so quickly.
Yeah, I suppose maybe that's it. All right, everybody, back to the Premier League. Leicester City host Chelsea tomorrow at 12:30. Enzo Maresca returns to the King Power for the first time since leaving in the summer. He did wonderful things with that football club, Jim.
He did. They're here because of him, and now he's going to try and send them back down.
What, with one fixture?
Potentially. Yeah. Who knows? It might come down to that.
I know they took him up and stuff pretty much, but like, do you not think that by the end of it, everyone was quite sick of how he played? Like he almost at the end kind of cost them an automatic place. No,
I mean that's.
Well, it was just kind of like they were quite. From what I remember, a lot of Leicester fans were very, and I do have a few connections in the era. Yes. A lot of Leicester fans were just quite bored with the fact that he just had no game management about him, and he just refused to do substitutions and stuff, and it almost cost them their place. So I remember it not being quite as wonderful as sort of everyone's been saying this week.
Do you think? Wow, do you think it's going to be a grudge match?
I think it's going to be a massive grudge match. All those Leicester City substitutes wanting to get on the field. Yeah, I've got my place now. Enzo, suck it.
Interesting, Peter. I mean they they got 97 points.
Yeah, that does seem good, though.
Yeah, and they were a point above Ipswich, so it did go to the wire, and obviously Leeds were on 90 points, so especially for the Championship, very, very close. But he did get them over the line ultimately. So I mean, I don't know who these Leicester City fans are.
Maybe I've just got some very negative friends next to my negative Newcastle nous.
Maybe. I mean, look, the fact is that he got them up, and the club was kind of structured towards him. I think they were hoping he would stay a bit longer, and so the style of play that he implemented was quite obvious.
Yeah,
when they're in the Championship and some of the signings and all that. So again, all geared round to him. Steve Cooper then comes in and has to kind of get his head around that. And Cooper said apparently when he first arrived. That he said, look, I know the work Maresca's done, he's done a fine job, despite nearly buggering it up at the end or whatever.
Crowd have turned.
Yeah.
Because we only got 97 points.
Losing 1-0 to Millwall, no thank you.
Yeah, right. Well, whatever happened at the end,
And Plymouth.
And Plymouth. Yeah, well, okay, that's fair. But Cooper said, we're going to try and build on that.
Yeah.
Now, it's tricky. I've bored everybody to tears the amount of times I've said, you come up from the Championship, you're winning every week, and playing a certain style of football. It is hard to implement that in the Premier League. As a Fulham fan, I've seen Marco Silva do that, by and large, because he's not like for like. I mean, Fulham were free scoring in the Championship. I think with that different... the change in quality, and we're going to talk more about this on the mailbag tomorrow, it is very difficult. Maybe having a new manager come in with, who's been in the Premier League before, that could serve them well. I mean, again, only time will tell.
Especially one who's been in a kind of relegation scrap before and has pragmatism about him.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are duty bound to say that he was sacked because they thought we were going. But, Cooper's a good manager. But you look at them in the table at the moment, they're 15th on 10 points. It's okay. It's not bad. It's all right.
They need to improve their defence, I think.
But they do. They're a little bit leaky at the back, as are a lot of sides down there.
They're literally the best of a bad bunch down there, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's it. I think with Leicester, I think Southampton are the side that a lot of people had before the season. They're going to go down, and their form and their points tally probably hasn't dissuaded anybody from thinking that. But people would think Wolves will improve. You'd think Palace will improve. Ipswich, people would think they'd probably be in a relegation scrap. Everton, under again. You look around, and if you're hoping, as maybe teams have in previous Premier League seasons, well, let's just not be the crappiest of the crap bunch down there. I think it's slim pickings with that this season. Again, Southampton, they'll be in the relegation scrap. You would think Ipswich would be. Palace, Wolves, Everton, and then you're into West Ham, Man United, Bournemouth. I think that Leicester, they've done okay, I stress that, but an improvement is needed. And I look around the squad, they've got a couple of big injuries, for crying out loud. They have been a bit unlucky there. And Fatawi, for example, bang, out for the season.
Yeah,
that's a bad one. That's obviously a bad injury, but it's really bad.
It's just starting to make an impact as well. It's the worst possible timing, really.
Exactly.
ACL injury. Do we need ACL? Should we just take him out of every footballer? Because that's the thing that just absolutely kills the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, the game might be quite different.
You are
it'd be smoother because nobody can stop start, so they'll just be doing massive laps of the pitch.
The older you get, the more you sound like a tech billionaire, Peter.
Yeah,
you don't
get rid of it. Yeah,
like who's trying to look young.
Who's the Fulham player who used to just do laps of the field after because he just
John
had John Pansel. Yeah, they'd just be John Pansel it right through the match. They could never stop.
So there's one goal, you put it in the middle. Yeah. People can only now move
run in concentric circles because they can't stop or start.
Yeah,
but they're not out for the season because their ACL does not exist.
You've been hanging out with Arsene Wenger and Tech Bros.
Take it out. Poor Abdul.
I know, yeah. Well, but
he's got an in, put John Pansel, so it works.
There you are, you see. It's airtight, this argument. I don't know why I'm trying to push back
ACL
on it.
tight.
Well, there you go. Ricardo Pereira's been out for a long time, and again, no return date, which has been another one, especially with his the way he played with under the system and so on. So they are up against it. You think to yourself, come the January transfer window, surely they've got to do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, unless Cooper finds something and something clicks, which is not which is a possibility, but just looking at stats, looking at where clubs are at this stage of the season in previous Premier League seasons and so on, the data suggests that they're going to
have a struggle,
a big old struggle in the relegation scrap.
So Chelsea themselves go into this with actually only 1 win in 5 in the Premier League. Obviously, we know they've been slapping about FC Noah of Armenia, and that's not the full story of
the Europa Conference League is so mismatched when they play.
It really is. So yeah, I mean, two of those draws were against Arsenal and Man United. So that is has to be factored into it. But you think Leicester might look at this and go, you know what, early kickoff, earliest available Barclays post international break.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll still be a bit rusty.
They
we go for it.
Well, I mean, Cooper will want a performance because apparently Ruud van Nistelrooy is circling.
Is he?
He's circling.
Is he?
I don't think it would improve the defence any, but if you're going to throw a lot of money at a manager, you may as well be.
If anything, we know from Van Nistelrooy and his association with Leicester that Leicester always get pumped.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You don't want that.
I was going to say, yeah. Oh, blimey, that's a bad
Poison
idea all
chalice.
around. Reece James is out injured again after only returning in October. Just a setback, they say, but he's missed. Get this, he's missed more than 120 games since 2018, and it's such a shame because he is quality.
He's brilliant.
Reece James, before all this, when he was playing regularly, you could have argued like one of the best fullbacks in the league, and you could even beyond that.
It would have been a real battle between him and Trent Alexander-Arnold, wouldn't it, to sort of nail down that spot replacing Kyle Walker.
Not for me. To me, just over.
You think
Trent.
over Trent?
Oh, indeed. If Reece James is fit and gets back to the levels we know, he's the starting right back for England all day long. Walker himself said that he's going to be the one to overtake. And as Walker himself, he's got everything. Reece James. He can go forward. He can defend. He's the complete package. Okay, if we're talking in England context, Alexander-Arnold's passing ability and so on. Only been David Beckham and David Bentley have shown that kind of passing range, in years gone by. And John Joe Shelby, Peter, if I may.
Thank you very much.
But James it's such a shame. You want to see the best players, not just for England, of course, but in the Premier League, and him being injured again. I saw that and I was like,
it's a hamstring issue, isn't it? So
I know.
Do we perhaps remove his hamstrings?
Maybe. Is there anybody who would come up with such an idea and run with it? I don't know.
Yeah, although
springs.
To be fair to him, I mean, they do expect this to be a short-term thing, don't they? And we see it all the time when players have had like long injuries. But they pick up other injuries on the road back to it. So hopefully this is just one of those.
Yes, indeed. Let's hope for that. But staying, if you will, everybody, with England and Chelsea chat. Chelsea's goalkeeper coach Henrique Hilario, who played at the club between 2006 and 2014, has he joined Chelsea as a coach in 2016. He has left to become England's goalkeeping coach. Ooh, that's lovely, isn't it?
It's one of the all-time great football names.
Yes,
it is there with ex-Spurs defender Defendi for me. Rodrigo Defendi.
Yeah, you've got to be good as a goalkeeper to be called Hilario. I think
you do.
You've got to play through that
you
name.
Really do.
It's a big old mantle, innit?
He didn't start that much. It was a lovely old job for Hilario at Chelsea.
No. I think he retired there, didn't he? He genuinely had a really, really good, lovely old job there. Yes. I learned that they're not going to replace him because the goalkeeping department, as we know, is massive in terms of actual goalkeepers.
Right.
They've also got a lot of coaches, and Willie Caballero's there as well. Even the goalkeeping coaching department is absolutely stacked with keepers.
Yeah. The goalkeepers union have thought to themselves, right, listen here, lads,
there's a lovely old job going on over at Chelsea.
If we all we can do this. We sniff out where the big money is. We can all get on a payroll, and we just I'll take shots at you for a bit. You take shots at me.
Mark Schwarzer in there somewhere, probably.
Must be.
Hilarious from a place in Portugal that's translated as Saint Peter of the Pit, which I think is a lovely.
What is it in Portuguese?
It'd be San Pedro of the
Pito?
The Pito.
Say Pito?
Pita. I don't know.
Say it in a Jose Mourinho accent and you're away.
Yeah, exactly. Sorted.
Yeah. Right. Yes. So Chelsea, there will be favourites for this game. There's no doubt about that. But Leicester, they do have Harry Winks in their ranks. It's nice to see Winks back in the Premier League. He's a lovely player, Winks. Obviously, hit the big highs at Tottenham and then has gone sort of around the houses a bit. He popped up at Sampdoria for a short while,
did,
but injuries and so on.
He's such a meat and potatoes player, though, like a sideways passman. I think the word
When you said
lovely is
meat
too.
and potatoes, I thought you meant like solid tackling and all that
No,
kind of stuff.
just kind of. Well, all right. Ham sandwich. He's a ham sandwich player.
I do love a ham sandwich.
The tackles are the meat and the potatoes are the sideways passing.
Is that right? Yeah, but there's something delightful about Harry Winks, isn't there, Jim?
Delightful's too strong. It's too strong.
I agree.
I'm sure. I'm looking at Jim to give it an answer as a former Spurs man.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm outnumbered here, but I like the way that he went to Leicester. He was a part of their side.
Yeah, part of a side. Yes, that's the word to use.
Well, no footballer is an island.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, but unless his name is Cristiano Ronaldo. But Winks, part of the side, big part of the side who went up, and he's in the Premier League now, and he's the type of player that Leicester have got to look for proper inspiration and
Inspiration too strong. No. At the end of his career, it would just say
Fine.
Harry Winks. He was involved.
Okay.
Somewhere.
That's
There you
piss
go.
poor.
Whoa!
Man playing the Champions League final.
How'd that work out for him?
He's a Champions League finalist.
He watched a pivotal handball.
Do you give this much love to Jimmy Traore?
I know, it's not his obsession. Give
I
some
will do
pencil love.
if he was playing.
Yeah, all right,
then I
fine.
certainly would.
I think Harry Winks is in the running order, isn't he? Because Spurs have been linked with signing him again.
There you go.
Fairly recently after selling
what
him,
they need.
and it's raised a few eyebrows.
Well, and I can see them in this studio.
It's on the back of my head.
Would you not think that's a good move for Spurs?
I mean,
a great move for Winks.
I can't say I've watched every minute of Harry Winks playing for Leicester this season. Perhaps he's been tearing up trees, but it seems a surprising link. It doesn't seem like it's what Tottenham need.
I think you could probably get that player elsewhere.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Is that fair?
And cheaper.
Get him back in the England squad.
There's not enough room. There's never enough room for anyone.
Dear. Coming up after this, we find out who are the unofficial Football League champions of England. Before we do that, let's talk about Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur.
Oof.
It is a bigger game on Saturday at 5:30.
It is. It was 3-3 last season.
It's always a good one.
It's got goals in it this game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Spurs are pretty good at bloodying Man City's nose.
Yeah,
And their nose has never looked more bloodyable.
that's right.
Man City.
It's already weeping.
It's got to come and get me play to get punched.
But it's usually a good game against these
Yeah.
two. I think we can all agree. And of course, Pep Guardiola has just signed a 1-year contract extension, which apparently does not include a clause should the club be relegated from the Premier League as a result of being found guilty of financial wrongdoing, or if they have a mare and go down as well.
I mean,
Yeah, the headline of that out without context looked absolutely insane, didn't it?
yeah.
If they get relegated, I think it'll be okay.
I mean, it is only one season, though, isn't it? And you don't get relegated immediately and just
Well,
find yourself in the Championship.
You know
Hello.
what? I think there's two ways of looking at
I've
this.
gone back up again.
One is that they're very confident that they won't get relegated, which I think is the sensible way to view that. But also, have you heard what he's been saying about the hypothetical idea of them being relegated to League One? Because he sounds well up for it. He does. I think he's done everything else, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And it's maybe they'll just pop up in years to come going, all right, we're back.
Yeah.
We've done all that. Won all them as well.
It's like that fantasy of going back to school and knowing what you knew now. Do you know what I mean? Just being top of the class and just being brilliant.
Yes.
I'm going to have a bloody great time.
It is a bit like that. It's interesting he said about relegation to League One, because wouldn't it be League Two they would get relegated to? But anyway, the fact is...
Go National League. Come on.
Now you're talking...
They have a really, really good academy.
Yeah.
They have a really strong academy. They could probably do it. They could lose all their players.
You'd get a Johnston's, wouldn't you? You'd get a
Oh, big
Johnston's.
time. Yeah, he's never won that. But yeah, I mean, it's just Pep Guardiola to a T, all that chat, isn't it? Because you remember when Carl Walker was talking on the BBC and said, because Guardiola said, like Neil Warnock and Sam Allardyce, I love these types of managers. I need to learn from them. I need to sort of speak to them. And Walker said he arranged for Neil Warnock to come down.
Just in case.
Yeah. And he arranged for Neil Warnock to come down and they chatted and all that kind of stuff. He just loves it. It's funny, for a guy who's reached the top of the game and is one of the greatest managers of all time, it's not a stretch to say, he always believes, I can learn as a new experience. It's quite incredible. And you're right, he would love, I don't know, way down in the Football League, he'd love flipping Shrewsbury Town away. Yeah. Or he'd love to go to wherever, I've never been there, I'd love to smell the meat of the pies and the people and all this kind of stuff.
Have intense conversations with a 37-year-old defender.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would.
Who's also a brickie.
I think it would suit him.
Yeah, I think it would too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's unlikely it's all going to happen. But yeah, Guardiola's there. Much chat has been made or been said about Guardiola. Will it bring a little bit more calm, for want of a better word, maybe, or stability in terms of the results and the playing this season, Peter? Because as you say, their nose has never been more bloodyable.
You're never calm with Pep Guardiola around, though, are you? You're always on your toes.
That's true.
Which is a good way to be as a footballer.
Yeah, but do you think this will have any effect, Jim? I mean, it's obviously hard to say. I mean, I wouldn't have thought so. I think that this is just a bit of a blip.
Yeah, I think so. I think they don't have a lot of fit first team players, do they? And that's obviously taking its toll. Any team will struggle because of that. It's good timing for Spurs, isn't it, to come to them while they've lost 4 games in a row, one of them against Tottenham themselves. Yeah. So, I mean, statistically, it feels unlikely, doesn't it, that will be another defeat. But we've seen Spurs have some really good performances against them.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs themselves have players out. Mickey van der Ven is a
massive
loss, of course. And then the likes of Werner, Moore, Romero, Richarlison, perhaps
big
not
miss.
A starter. Wow, I mean, he's a squad player though. I mean,
I like him.
Yeah, do you?
I like him.
Oh, right, you change your tune quickly.
I wish he could play a bit more, but mainly perform better a bit more.
Do those volleys like he did at the World Cup.
Exactly.
Minus the chicken dance, though. Don't do that. But of course, they will be without Rodrigo Bentancur, who's been banned for 7 games and fined £100,000 for racist comments made about teammate Son Heung-min back in June. Which
rather unhelpful, isn't it? I mean, Spurs are quite hilariously trying to appeal it. Or appeal the length of the ban. And it's like, it happens every fucking time with the Premier League side. Like, they're all about community and they're all about anti-racism. But then as soon as one of their own does it, they're like, he doesn't know what he's saying. He's a little baby. His little baby said the thing. His mouth's been hacked by QAnon. There's always every excuse under the fucking sun when that happens. It's, pun intended.
Yeah. I think the Premier League have been really strong on it, and obviously, Bentancur and Son Heung-min are pals, and Son Heung-min has made it very clear that there's no issue between them. But these things do need to be come down on hard. And
he said this on Uruguayan TV in June, which is
just a little baby boy. He said it in Uruguay.
That's not what I'm saying. No. Of course, I'm just reminding people of the context because in case you wondered where it come from, because obviously you didn't hear it, and so on. But yeah, so. 7 games. That's a statement. So Spurs will miss him. Whatever comes from the appeal, he will be banned. But one man who is in the mix for Tottenham Hotspur is James Maddison, who has only started one of the last 4 games in all competitions. Hasn't quite been up to speed yet. Hopefully for his and Spurs' sake, it's just a dip in form. But teenager Mikey Moore, who may or may not feature against Man City, because again, a little bit of an injury there, so we'll see. He's impressed in recent weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Mikey Moore is the story, though, when it comes to James Maddison. I think Dejan Kulusevski is, because he's been playing a bit more centrally, which has kind of made it harder for Maddison to get back into the team. Obviously, Sarr and Kulusevski are playing really well in there. And
Kulusevski's been brilliant.
He has, and because obviously Brennan Johnson's been playing really well in Kulusevski's original position, there's no need to move Kulusevski out there. So I think that's the problem for Maddison, really, and it's one I guess you wouldn't necessarily have anticipated at the start of the season.
Yeah. I think, look, just like a lot of young men, the dart has claimed him. He's a dartsman now. He's a man of the dart.
Man of the dart.
Man of the dart.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. He's Neil Maupay went to Marseille and he had no natural predator.
He's got comfortable.
And he's got comfortable and he's taken up darts.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it, everybody. Well, I'm glad that one's on TV because, as we said before, it's usually a barn burner.
I think it's going to be a good weekend of football.
Do you?
Yeah. You got Amorim's first match. in front of the murals of Ipswich, and then you've got that match as well.
It always is with the Barclays, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every weekend.
Classic
Every weekend the same.
Barclays.
You can't take your eyes off it, of course. But there is a huge chance, of course, now in the Barclays for Everton to do something quite special. Now, we heard on Wednesday about Algeria being crowned the unofficial football world champions this week after winning the lineal belt from Liberia. Well, Ryan Siddle got in touch on X to let us know that Brentford are currently the unofficial Football League champions of England, essentially the domestic lineal champion. They won it off Bournemouth before the international break. Now, Manchester City, of course, had it had the last belt in May 2023 when they won the league. The belt goes all the way back to Preston in 1888-89.
I love that you're referring to it as a belt.
Yes.
It should be physically made up, and the captain of the losing team should have to hand it over to the captain of the winning team.
I think it's a nice idea. So Everton, who host Brentford this weekend, have a chance.
Hang it in the new stadium.
Yes,
Hang it in the new Championship Stadium.
Indeed, it would be a rare, famous victory for them in recent years. We can agree, but I think you've got to grab hold of all these kind of opportunities. Come the end of the weekend, Everton could be the unofficial Football League champions of England. They are Everton fans.
It's getting all conspiracy theory now, isn't it? Yeah. Well, actually, I've been in my basement with a big corkboard and red twine and just dragging it into Goodison Park and going, look, winners,
Champions.
champions, Football League champions.
I think. I know.
It should be a thing. Are you saying it should be a thing?
That it could make a bit of a mockery of everything.
Yes.
But at least among the fans, though.
Right. I thought you were thinking like Sky should be talking about this.
Oh, no, because they would get on with it.
It'd get
Should we
pretty
get
boring then, wouldn't it?
special commemorative shirts? Just put it on a mural.
Yeah, we were once the...
Find out when Ipswich was last in the old cup.
Have they won
it? The title, and then put it on the wall.
Because you'd think like most clubs would have held the belt
At some point.
at some point, but maybe not though.
Do you think there's any sort of like, it might even be Everton who've never been there before?
Yeah,
oh no!
Yeah,
This is their chance to sort of get that monkey off their back.
Yeah, it just adds a little bit more something to the fixture.
Yeah, exactly.
If you said
Bit of
right,
spice.
if someone said right, no disrespect to Everton or Brentford, two fine clubs. Everton v Brentford on the weekend, you go, okay,
Yeah.
not too much. If you went the unofficial Football League champions of England title decider is this weekend between Everton and Brentford. Like, oh, hang on,
It's all about branding, isn't it?
exactly.
It's all about branding.
And the Premier League know that more than anybody.
Maybe that's the problem, though. Maybe it's the unofficial is the problem. Maybe you're the inter-county champion.
Oh,
Yes,
see what you're doing,
okay,
Jim. See what
nice.
you're doing. I like that idea. Right, well, talking of belts, ladies and gentlemen, we've got big news coming for you. It's time for Jack's Encyclopedia.
Dean Smith also says you're an encyclopedia of football.
A what?
An encyclopedia of football.
I don't know what that means.
Well, we do, everybody. It's Jack's Encyclopedia time. Now, of course, our friend and brother-in-arms, Vitushin Hantharaja, is the current lineal champion. And Vish has departed for overseas climbs.
Yeah, he's not died. I'll make that clear.
No.
Yes. He's off covering the cricket in New Zealand. He's gone over
It's
there.
the sound of a cricket bat hitting some willow, or is that made of willow? I forget.
That'd be cricket bats hitting each other, wouldn't it?
He's started a new
I don't know the
thing
rules,
called
but I'm
cricket jousting. He's on horseback and they just attack each other with cricket bats. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. We hadn't heard about this
He
before.
got
but
some investment, he got some seed funding from
Anyway.
the city, and he started a new sport.
Vish is going over there to do that. But yes, so...
Ow! You bastard!
So Vish has taken the lineal belt with him, and he's going to be away for a while. But good news, everybody! Good news. I think this is quite stunning stuff. Today is a very, very special day on Jack's Encyclopedia. It's a huge one, this, because another belt has appeared.
Oh.
Today, everybody, is an intercontinental belt decider between
Thank you.
Jim Campbell and Pete Donaldson. The
I could be the first winner. I could be the
Jack's Encyclopedia Intercontinental Belt is up for grabs today.
and I'm off for a week,
This
so I
is
could hold it
massive.
for ages.
Exactly.
This is absolutely massive.
This is massive. Absolutely right. So
It's going to be like boxing by the end of it, with all those belts, which
Yeah.
everyone loves.
I know, and it dilutes some of the others, Vish. So
We're hot shotting it. Just take it off him.
So, the Intercontinental Championship belt bout between Jim Campbell and Pete Donaldson is going to begin now. Of course,
ICJE, baby, on the line.
This is indeed the Intercontinental belt's on the line. It's a simple game of categories. You know this. If you go too slow, Gary Neville will orgasm. Okay, category number 1. Pete Donaldson, I want you to go first. Okay. FIFA's top 20 ranked nations. This was last updated on the 24th of October. That shouldn't throw too many curveballs there for you, but FIFA's top 20 ranked footballing nations. I don't want any club teams, Peter.
Right, okay,
I just want nations. So, fire away.
I'll think inside the box then. I'm going to go for Spain, please.
Spain. They're there.
I'm going to go for Argentina.
Of course, they're the world champions, for crying out loud.
Indeed.
I'm going to go for Brazil.
You can.
I'm going to go for France.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for England.
Yeah, we're in there, baby.
I'm going to go for Portugal.
Nicely done.
I'm going to go for Belgium.
Pardon?
Belgium.
I will go for Germany.
Oh, you can still find them. I'm going to go for Japan.
Nicely done.
Oh, going for
I like it.
Italy.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about them lot.
Yeah. It's good, guys. Keep it going.
I'm going to go for USA.
They're in there.
Nice.
I like it. Been a bit further afield. Jim's been a bit more conservative.
Croatia.
Grow up. I'm going to go for the Netherlands.
Well played, boys. It's good.
I'm going to go for Uruguay.
I'm going to go for Mexico.
He's in there.
Huh.
What do you got, Jim?
What have I got?
5 teams left.
5 teams left.
5 teams left.
South Korea.
Oh, it's a point to Pete Donaldson.
Yes.
my
I
other-
think that's my first point.
Other one was Chile.
I was thinking about Chile. Would that have been right?
No. I wouldn't have been. So you did really well there, chaps. I think you got a lot of the ones.
A good chunk.
Yeah, you
15,
did.
was it?
It was 15. Colombia,
Ukraine?
Iran, Morocco, Senegal, and Switzerland.
Oh.
So I think you did very well there.
I would have been, if somebody got Senegal, I would have been like, that's great stuff.
Yeah, indeed. But it's 1-0 to Pete Donaldson. Jim, you're up now. You need this to stay in the Intercontinental belt hunt. The category is every player who has scored 5 or more Premier League goals so far this season. Tricky.
Okay. Cole Palmer.
Nearly got that in one game.
Mo Salah.
Erling Haaland.
Piss. Saka.
Bukayo Saka.
Bukayo Saka.
Balls.
It's a point to Jim Campbell.
Cool.
Brian Mbeumo, Chris Wood, Danny Welbeck, Liam Delap, Luis Diaz, Mateus Cunha, Nicholas Jackson, Ollie Watkins, and Johan Wissa.
It's a hard one.
Were the other ones.
Oh,
Was it? Saka's got 3 goals.
He's got 3 goals.
Three
right,
goals.
okay.
Yeah, that is a tricky
Injured
one.
prick.
Yeah,
Relying him too much. Can't even perform at the highest
There we
level.
are.
Rubbish.
So it's 1-1.
1-1.
And
When the belt's on the line, we just raise our game, don't we?
you do. And unless you both bugger this up, we will have a new Intercontinental champion, everybody, in Jack's Encyclopedia after this round. This is massive.
It's good I don't actually have a belt.
This is
so I could
absolutely
use it.
massive.
Yeah.
That's why your trousers keep falling down.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this is shades of Luke's game, this.
Right.
Every club Mario Balotelli has played for. Pete, you'll go first.
Manchester City.
Well done.
Liverpool.
Trabzonspor. Oh, piss.
Chance for Jim. Surely.
Inter.
Surely.
Jim Campbell wins.
And the first Intercontinental champion of Jack Jack's Encyclopedia. It's Jim Campbell.
Yes!
He has the belt which everybody will want.
All over the intercontinent.
Yeah.
Why did I go for the Turkish side?
Adnana Demirspor.
So it wasn't even Galatasaray.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
Galatasaray.
and you said Transbobspor or something like
Trabzonspor.
that anywhere.
AC Milan, Brescia, Genoa, Lumenzana, Marseille, Monza, Nice and Sion.
Monza.
All great sides. All great sides.
Yeah, good round, chaps. Good round.
Never mind.
But Jim Campbell, you are the Jack's Encyclopedia Intercontinental Champion.
Yes!
You must be delighted.
I've been dreaming of this day for about 10 minutes.
Oh dear. Well, it's just great to have a more prominent belt in circulation. I think everyone was fed up with that lineal championship belt.
Tim Pot belt.
I feel like Donald Trump at WrestleMania.
Do you really?
Turning up, getting, done in and then having to leave.
I know, but Jim must feel like Donald Trump right now.
I do, yeah.
Tired of winning. That lad, tired of winning.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.